What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to another Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 16 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Montreal Canadiens here tonight 4-1, moving to 9-5-2 on the season. And just a clean, tidy win here tonight. A clean, tidy weekend for this Maple Leafs team, and helping us break this one down here tonight, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy you guys all actually came here to see. I know you didn't come to see me. Nick Alberga, the Golden Muzzy. How's it going, Nick? How you feeling after this big win tonight?
I like the introduction, man, and I like the win for this Maple Leafs team. Took care of business. So it was a good one, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I mean, I talked about it yesterday going into in my game preview video that I did ahead of Detroit. I was like, you have an opportunity here tonight. Detroit is going to come in a little fired up. Pavel Datsyuk into the Hall of Fame. Let's go in, take care of business, have a clean game. Okay, you win that one. Then I talked about it today. One of the issues that we've had with this team is Jekyll and Hyde, right? It's what are you going to get on a nightly basis? Well, you won last night. You're on the second night of a back-to-back. You're playing against a team that has struggled to start the season. They've regressed from last year, honestly. And I mean, they're just not that great. And realistically, this Leafs team should be able to handle them no problem. But traditionally, they don't. So all I wanted was just a clean win here tonight to show us that they're different. Are you believing that they're different here after this win tonight?
I don't know if I can get to that level. I will say they came out kind of sluggish in the first period. All I could think about all night is how bad Montreal is. Like, they have so many more games to go, and they look so defeated. But they're obviously destined for pretty high pick in the draft next June. From the Leafs perspective, I think all this is a process. I think we're going to have some stern reminders, Zach, throughout the season that probably lead us astray and lead us in the wrong direction. We'll say it's happened a couple times already before, but all in all, I think they're getting back to sort of the formula that worked early in the season, the first couple games, right? And that's just a strong forecheck, Craig Berube hockey, nothing flashy about it. I mean, even watching last night's game, it wasn't like it really stood off the page, and it was like an impressive effort, but they took care of business. They got the job done, and those are like your prototypical low event hockey type games that you're going to see in a Craig Berube. So I think 2 points well worth it. They were the way better team in this game.
It's a successful weekend here, obviously 2-0, and it's not just that. It's 3-0 here now without Matthews. I saw a tweet come out after the game. Jonas Siegel put out the stat about it. 3-0 without Austin Matthews, outscoring teams 11-2. It's not just outscoring teams. It's not just going 3-0. It's special teams being on fire for this group. Another successful night for the power play. Successful one here for the penalty kill. They do get scored on, but they do score a goal themselves. What do you make of this power play so far without Matthews through these 3 games?
Dude, it's very Leafy. Like, we use that expression probably too much. It's cliche at this point on this channel. But yeah, I was in disbelief the last couple of nights, quite frankly, watching this Maple Leaf power play come to life. Like, a week ago, they couldn't even gain the zone, and now they're scoring on essentially every shot. And it makes absolutely no sense, as you just referenced, one of the best players on the planet, period's not in the lineup, and the power play scoring goals. Like, I even wonder, Zach, if Matthews is good enough to come back on Tuesday, why the hell would you tinker with PP1 right now? Like, I think it's a fair question to ask, even though it is Austin Matthews, even though it's very likely that they're going to change it so Matthews is back with PP1. But this has to be the biggest story of the weekend, is even dating back to the Boston game, they go 3 for 7, then they go 2 for 2 against Detroit, and it continues against the Montreal Canadiens. It's just amazing how quickly conversations can change, where now I guess everybody loves Marc Savard again.
This is where the leafiness of the fan base really gets to thrive. Like, this is when I put out that video the other day, the clip from the show with me and Rosie, and we're getting ridiculous. Matthews, who do they need him? Whatever. After the game on Tuesday against the Bruins, this is when these debates start. But the problem is that there is something to it. Reality is you need him in the lineup. He's the best player on your team. He's the best goal scorer in the NHL, in my opinion. Like, you got to have him, and you're better with him on your power play in the long run, I would think. But, like, why would you mess with something that's hot right now with that group? Also, you know what there's a benefit to it is? This is going to be insane. You can tell me if I'm an idiot for this, but hear me out. The benefit of if you put just Matthews on the second unit, he's the only guy. If he goes out there on the second unit, there's no worry about, I got to pass it to Willie, I got to pass to Mitch or Johnny. No. Fire away, buddy. No one else. Wait, I don't want Max Domi shooting the puck instead of you. If this is yours, you shoot the puck. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to that for Tuesday night against Ottawa.
I think the likelihood of Matthews staying on PP1 is like slim, or staying and going to PP2 is slim to none. He's Austin Matthews, but I know what you're saying though. Like, I think it makes a lot of sense why the numbers have skyrocketed and have been skyrocketing without Austin Matthews in the lineup. You mentioned it, 38, 19, and 2 all time now without Matthews. Never mind the power play clicking, I think over 30% in those games. Like, it makes no sense, but in essence, it does, because it really feels like maybe they're trying to overcompensate too much because they got a guy who scored 69 goals last season and is pound for pound the best goal scorer on the planet. Like, it makes a lot of sense why the power play looks a lot different without Matthews in the lineup. But hey, I'm taking it as a positive. I think maybe you cross your fingers that Matthews comes into the lineup and the power play keeps humming. It's not even a conversation anymore.
This is Leafs Nation After Dark right here on Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the stream here tonight. I put up a poll, Nick, before we started the show. Who is tonight's MVP? I put 4 options. If someone else then there, or you guys want to add somebody, send it in the chat. I'm curious. But 4 players, and it's weird because they're going to be the 4 most prominent players, obviously, going into it and then coming out of the night. But I think these were the 4 best players, not just tonight, but over the last 3 games. John Tavares, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, Joseph Woll. Joseph Woll obviously stops 20 for 21 here tonight. It's not like he faced the craziest workload, but looked good in the work that he did have to handle. Tavares, Nylander, and Marner, every night, Boston, Detroit last night, and Montreal here tonight. It's like, well, look at the stat sheet. There's JT with a couple, Willie with the goal, Marner with some, contributing power play, penalty kill. Like, these guys have been all over it. How have you kind of evaluated those big 3, I guess, without Matthews in this lineup and how they've elevated their games?
Well, firstly, I think this proves the point that we're allowed to lose our shit when the Maple Leafs don't play well and they lose to Columbus and they lose to the crappy teams, because it just shows you what they can do, what they're capable, even without Austin Matthews in the lineup, right? It makes me even more pissed off, quite frankly. But I think to your question, all those guys have been phenomenal. We'll start with Joseph Woll. He wasn't overly tested. I thought he made some good saves in this game. Yeah. I mentioned the first period. It was a slowish type start. Second half of the back-to-back, Montreal looked like the fresher team, but the Leafs leveled off, got a big-time goal. I thought it was interesting there in the first period to get that scoring play underway. It was like Timmins from Benoit and Reeves. Like, that'll be the only time we'll ever see that combination combine in a goal, but I think it's great news. Marner, I think, has been outstanding for a good portion of the season lately. I think he's been phenomenal, specifically with Austin Matthews in the lineup. He's going to get us 100 points. He's going to be around that marker. He's going to have a good year. He's going to put himself in line for a contract, and we'll see what happens there. So I'm not shocked. Nylander, I think, has been the best player on the team from day one to now. I think he's been really good, doing his thing, finishing plays. Even the way he scores his goal tonight, I thought was a thing of beauty, and only select players in this league can do. And John Tavares is still, like, weirdly, probably one of the more underrated players on this team. Like, there's always, like, word of his demise, and then it seems like he comes back even harder. It happens like 3-4 times a year. It's going to happen. I'm prognosticating in mid-January. We have that convo as John Tavares finished. But
yeah, well, Nick, we just found out what it is, right? It's the amulet. He's had the amulet. We didn't know about the amulet. Now we know he's got the amulet. He puts that thing on, and all of a sudden, legs come back to him.
That's exactly it. But no, he's been great too, man. It was a good team effort, and I like when they share the wealth. Like, I like when it's less about the big boys and more so about the team. And I think for the most part, throughout this season, yes, the big boys have been good, but I think the supporting cast has been a good story. The crease has been solidified. I thought this was Woll's best effort of the 4 games he's played so far this season. So lots of positives to take. And again, you can't forget, not to bury the lead, but no Austin Matthews, and they're still taking care of business here.
It's a good point you make. Like, you don't want it to just be a top guy heavy, but I feel like this has been different. Maybe just for me, I don't know. I'm curious what your thoughts are on it, but a different feeling this year where, like, I walk away from a game like this where it is Nylander, Marner, Tavares on the board here tonight. But this doesn't feel like, wow, if it wasn't for them, like we got ran out of the building otherwise. I watch fourth line shifts where they spend extended periods of time in the offensive zone. They're winning. There was a play, and I just sat there. I was like watching it happen, and then I went, "Oh my god, that was Ryan Reeves." He chipped the puck in Lane Hutson's corner and beat him to it on a foot race, and I was like, "What the fuck am I watching? Like, who are these guys?" But it's starting with them playing this style of hockey. Get the puck in, get your ass on the puck. You're going to win those battles. You play down there in the offensive zone. And it's like, if these guys can do it, if Nylander can get into corners here now, Marner can get down there, Nyes is doing it on the first line. It's like everyone throughout is doing it. I look at the third lines. I look at the fourth lines. Yeah, they're not going to get the points on the board that are going to look all pretty, but they're contributing in other ways, wearing defensemen down, wearing the other team down, pinning them in their zone, forcing them to ice puck. Like, those are such valuable moments in a game that I think are kind of just going not noticed right now, that we haven't really had in years past with this group out of the bottom six. That's just, it's been awesome.
Yeah, bottom line, I mean, I'm going to tread carefully because, again, we have those humble reminders of lapses, if you want to call it that, in trying to get this team playing the right way. But again, there's a lot to be optimistic about. There's a lot of positivity in the air right now. I think the two things that come from your little diatribe there were buy-in and consistency and accountabilities there and identity. Like, I think most shifts, you know what you're going to get from the Leafs, regardless of who hops over the boards, right? They're going to put the puck in deep and they're going to forecheck you to death, and it's going to lead to turnovers. And I like the mixture of like that heavy checking style, but also allowing the big boys to do their thing and be cool with the puck and be unique and play to their skill set. But it's also within realm of like the structure that they've set. Like, I've said this so many times. I can't remember a Leafs blue line who has moved the puck this efficiently. Like, if you recall last year, I used to lose my mind watching games because they couldn't get the puck out of the zone. And it was like, I don't know if it was the forecheck. I don't know if, who they had in the back end. They just weren't moving it quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's a major league, difference when you have guys like Tanev, you have OEL, the other guys are playing really, really well. You're getting the puck out of the zone. It makes it easier for the skill guys to go to work. But yeah, it's my major takeaways. Like, every line, you know what you're going to get, right? It's that heavy brand, that heavy style, and I think there seems to be some buy-in as of late.
You know what's one of the interesting things with this D group, and it's a small thing, and I feel like I might be glorifying it a little bit, but how many times are they showing a camera cut back after the puck is dumped into the corner, and the D-man gets the puck, turns, looks up ice, and then takes at least 3-4 strides? It's like in years past, it's kind of to the point you just made there, but puck goes back, your head is staring at the end boards, looking at it. There's no thought of getting it and taking a second. There's no thought of turning around. It's like, go get the puck and just whack at it and send it back the other way. And it's kind of hard to win if you, especially in games like this, where the other team's going to bring pressure the entire night, if you don't possess the puck. Like, if you're going to go into a game against Montreal's, Columbus, etc., and you're not going to possess the puck for the entire game, you're basically leaving it more up to like a coin flip in those situations where the other team who's coming in really hungry is just going to have opportunities to ram it down your throat because they've got the puck almost as much as you. That's not happening anymore. These guys are making a good first pass. They're calm with the puck back there. They're not afraid. It's been way more enjoyable to watch this D group. Physical play, blocking shots, like it's just top to bottom right now. Being very enjoyable with these guys, and even guys like Connor Timmins are getting on the board here tonight. And that guy, man, he's really stepped up under Craig Berube so far.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, let's not forget, and we talked about this on Leafs Morning Take, like Connor Timmins was a highly regarded prospect. He was on the World Junior team years ago. He was included in the conversation with like your Cale Makars of the world in Colorado way back when. And obviously it hasn't gone according to plan. He's been really, really injured, but it's amazing what confidence can do for a player's game. Like, I think he can sleep easier at night knowing he's going to be in the lineup. Like, there's nobody else entering that lineup on the back end. There's no Phil Myers. There's no Matt Benning. Of course, Liljegren's now at the San Jose Sharks. Obviously, it's going to change a bit when Hakanpää's ready to go. Maybe that's as early as Tuesday. But I think right now, I would say Timmins has probably outplayed like a Simone Benoit. Like, I don't think he's the clear-cut six guy.
Yeah.
I think he deserves a lot of credit. He's been really, really smart with the puck. I think he's got a really under the radar type shot in the back end. Maybe we see it a bit more on PP2 at some point in time throughout this season. And I think confidence is the biggest difference I've seen. He's getting the opportunity, and good on him. He's making the best of his situation too, right?
Yeah, it's been kind of awesome to watch him just step in and transform a little bit into like a more comfortable role. Like I feel like Timothy Liljegren was always, I don't think scared of the game. I think he was scared of, I mean, phrasing, the best way I could phrase it really would be like the coach, but I think it's more like in terms of making a mistake and having the consequences of making the mistake, right? Like it's looking over your shoulder every time. If I fuck this up, am I going to lose my next shift? And I feel like that takes a lot away. I don't think that that's been an issue so far here with this with Connor Timmins back there. He's stepped in pretty comfortably. He looks like he's getting a lot of trust from Craig Berube, so it's fit very well. One thing that did occur here tonight, unfortunately, we're not going to speculate, obviously, about the extent of it, how things are going to go, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about it. Max Pacioretty goes down towards the end of the second period there, does not return. I thought he was going to leave right away, ends up sitting on the bench, kind of has me thinking, hey, maybe things are going to be okay, and then ends up being carried off the ice effectively by Reeves. That is a huge blow, and I think bigger than many people might expect if he's going to be out for an extended period of time here now. He has looked really, really good over the last couple of games. He's fit very well on that line with Tavares and Nylander, and I mean, even look at tonight. 30, 40 seconds into the game, he's absolutely leveling Goulet in the corner, and the building's getting on its feet in a building that is traditionally pretty quiet. What do you make of the loss of Max Pacioretty here tonight, what it could mean for this team going forward?
Very deflating is the first thing I would bring up, because I know behind the scenes how hard Max has worked to get back to this level, and I think many would agree. Even in the short time he's been a Maple Leaf, they've been really, really impressed. Like if you do recall when PTOs came around and the whole Pacioretty thing came to light, there was a lot of people that weren't fans of the Pacioretty signing, and that quickly changed. That conversation quickly changed over the last couple weeks. He has been their best forechecker. He's been their heaviest hitter up front. I think he brings a bit of a different look, and he's really, really bought. You talk about guys who have bought in to Craig Berube's system. It's Max Pacioretty at this mid-30s age playing that physical brand that we're not used to seeing. Like, this guy wants a cup badly, and you can feel it in the way he plays. It didn't look pretty. I mean, a lot of people want to be doctors on social media, think it's like a hamstring or a pulled hamstring, and people are already prognosticating maybe he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. But we all know the history with this guy. I just hope it's something that he can come back from. You always, when injuries like this happen, and again, he's helped off the ice, you just think about the worst case scenarios, which kind of sucks as a human being, but it's being a human. And you just hope that, he can come back from something like this and he can come back and contribute for the Maple Leafs. Cause I've liked the fit. I thought he was playing really, really well with Nylander, with Tavares. It kind of stinks. It happens against his former team he captained for 3 years. But yeah, it's disappointing, man. It's a long season, but hopefully Pacioretty comes back and he can be a guy that, is as effective as he was prior to the injury.
Just so you know, I've given you credit every single time I've talked about that. It was you on, I think, in the game against the Bruins. Yeah. I think that was the game. You came on the show after and you were like, yeah, I don't think they're using him right. He should be top 6. Right away, top 6. I think it was like the next game was against Winnipeg and JT hat-trick, whatever. But in his absence here, what do you think? Nick Robertson gets the tap to go up there, second line left wing?
Well, it's like the first thing I thought of was like, man, we're bracing for some roster moves, and like the whole Matthews thing happens on Friday, and Dewar's back off the injury list, and like what happens next? Well, nothing needs to happen now, right? I think to answer your question, Nick Robertson, I like the fact that Chief, and it's easier to do this when you're up considerably by a considerable amount in a game, but try different guys, like even a guy like David Kampf got some reps in the top 6, but I think by default, we have to see, I think they have to see Nick Robertson in that spot for a variety of reasons. Among them, sweeten this guy up, man. If you're going to really go out there, and by all sounds of talking to a couple people, like he's still firmly out there on the trade market, butter him up, man. Put him with the big boys. See what he can finally do. There's finally a spot there, right? That Pacioretty had consumed. Can Nick Robertson grab this opportunity, man? Because I know it's not all about stats, but I look at his hockey DB and I'm like, 1 goal in like 14 games. I don't care if he got close. I don't know if the goal I was there on Friday, got called back. He is not scoring goals. So this is the last call at the bar for me. It's 1:58 a.m. last call, last shot of the night. When
Lights
Nick
are
Robertson
turning
gets
up.
the job done, start producing it, right?
Yeah, it's fair enough. Nick, I'll let you go on this. I put in the chat and asked people there who their MVP of tonight was. Obviously, only gave people 4 options. Marner firmly in the lead as of right now. 45% of voters have chose Mitch Marner as their MVP. Nylander second, 24%. You don't have to pick from those guys. Who was your MVP of the game tonight for this Maple Leafs team?
It's Mitch Marner. I think the chat is correct on that front. I think he, and in general, in the last couple of games, he's been awesome. But specifically in this one, everything seemed to run through Mitch Marner. That's when he's had his best. He's using his wheels. He's using his craftiness. I think, again, very underrated defensively. Maybe you can't even say that anymore because he's always in the running for the top defensive award. Yeah. But he's just been playing his game, which is great to see. Again, he's going to put himself in line to get a nice, beautiful contract with which team, who knows? But as long as he's a Maple Leaf, I'm loving it, dude. He's a good player. And again, we'll have this conversation, I'm sure, in the springtime. And I can't wait for it. I really can't.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun. You, me, and that man behind your left shoulder there.
Googly Eyes McGee?
Yeah, I got to get one here. Up here. I got to get one behind me, too. Maybe I'll get that for tomorrow, and then I'll have it for, I think, Tuesday's the next game against the Sens. I'll have it for Tuesday's stream. That's going to be the newest addition to my studio there. But, Nick, I appreciate you doing this, as always. You get yourself some rest. Are there any movies or anything on the docket tonight, or just going to watch more hockey?
Buddy, I got a buddy who's just hitting me up off the hook, and he wants to take a peek on King Street West, and I might have to oblige. I am gassed. I can't do it at 35 anymore. I went out last night, past last call, like just an absolute joke, slaughterhouse of a night. Here I am. I had to come on After Dark with you, love and talk Leafs with you, but it's like I might get dragged back into the fight, buddy.
I respect that. Sometimes you just got to get up and go again. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up, Nick. So you get back up and get back at it there tonight. You enjoy it. Thank you very much for doing this. And make sure to subscribe here to the channel. Catch Nick Monday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time for another edition of Leafs Morning Take. Enjoy the rest of your night, Nick.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Take care, buddy.
As always, Nick Alberga helping us break everything down. We appreciate him stopping by here on the After Dark show. We'll continue on here ourselves, break down the rest of what's going on. We have some more segments to get to, whatever new one we come up with in the next segment. And then we also have our play of the game, our grade of the game. We will have our best bet recap, which, by the way, if you watch the pregame show and you bet with us, then you should be enjoying your night a little bit more. Maybe you've got a couple extra dollars in your pocket to go and get yourself some drinks here tonight. But if you are enjoying the show, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. If anyone wants to call in, you've got me on Twitter, you're following me on there, you send me a message, I will make sure to answer you guys, send you a link. You guys can call in and give me your thoughts on the game here tonight. I would appreciate that. If we got to hear from some people, that would be fun. But thanks to Nick for stopping by here first and foremost. Some other things that I did not really discuss there with Nick, but I do want to get into. First of all, we didn't talk too much about it. He obviously briefly went over it when we addressed the MVP poll that's being put up in the chat, what we've got on. Marner, Woll is last on MVP here tonight. MVP, 14% for Joseph Woll. I get it, and I think that that's fair. I don't think he is the MVP. Like an Anthony Stolarz last night could probably get an MVP or a higher voting on the MVP poll from you guys, but tonight would make sense. With that said, I do want to give Joseph Woll credit. I thought he played a very good game here tonight. He makes 20 saves on 21 shots against, finishes the night here with a .952 save percentage, like .955 from Stolarz last night, .952 from Joseph Woll. Mind you, it's not like he took like the most dangerous opportunities against or shots against, and a little bit of credit there to the Leafs defense for what they were able to do. But the other thing for me on that and what leads to that happening is he just looked calm. He looked comfortable in the net. It looked like the last couple of games that he's been in net for this team just have not fazed him. You just move to the next, move to the next, move to the next. He had an easy night until the third, Salvatore there pointing out, and I would agree with that. But In the third, when it was time for him to be called upon, he stepped up and he was there. He was ready. He could have easily been cold. He could have had that in the back pocket and as an excuse to say, hey, this is what happened to me here tonight. It wasn't facing anything. And then all of a sudden, whoa, I got hit with a rush of shots, a rush of pressure. And next thing you know, a couple goals are in the net and I'm scrambling. Just never allowed that to happen. Diz there, I mean, it's an MVP poll. Woll still played well. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same page as that. Like, this was a really good game. I think he deserves credit. It's not like he faced the toughest night or had the toughest night here, but with what he did face, he did well with it. Robert Smith, the good part about Woll's game tonight is that he is even better than what he was tonight. What? Oh, he is even better than what he was tonight. Yes, I understand now. I agree. Yeah. Like you get back-to-back good goalie performances, back-to-back solid defensive performances from this team. You allow 2 goals there last night against Detroit. 1 goal last night against Detroit. 1 goal here tonight. Just solid efforts all the way around. From the goaltending, from team defense, like the 3 games that you've now played with without Austin Matthews, you shut out the Bruins, you allowed 1 goal against the Red Wings, you allowed 1 goal against the Canadiens, 2 goals in 3 games, you score 11-4. The defense from these guys as a team has been drastically better. They are much more capable of dictating the pace of play. I mean, at no point here tonight, really, did I feel like we were going to end up back into old Leaf territory of, oh no, Montreal is going to get back in this. Oh no, Montreal is going to find a way to get this one close, to start to climb back into this one, build momentum. It just never really happened. The Leafs from start to finish looked pretty good. I thought that there was like a lull at the first 3 minutes of the third period. But even though the Leafs were in survival mode in that first 3.5, 4 minutes to start the third, they played really well defensively to start that. Like, it could have gotten out of control. There was just an onslaught of Habs pressure in the offensive zone. They still didn't really allow Montreal to get crazy opportunities there. Like, they weren't getting point blank looks or anything like that. The Leafs were able to get their sticks on a lot. I mean, able to get in front of a lot, block things, tip things. Like, they were just making an impact on that, so things from Montreal weren't that clear. So it's one of those weird ones because I'm sitting there going, oh shit, we're under pressure. And they were for 3.5 minutes. But even in that pressure that they faced, they just found ways to minimize it, which is not something I've felt in years past, especially in these types of games. This is not a great Habs team, obviously, but the Leafs play down to them. Detroit, not that great. They play down to them. They just didn't get to that point tonight, and it wasn't like you need to run them out of the building and win 8-1. Like, that's not what needs to happen. But you just basically said we're not gonna let this creep in at all. We're not gonna let you get any sort of momentum. Nothing. Like, this from start to finish was a solid, comfortable win for this Leafs team. And hey, man, let's obviously be aware of getting our hopes up, but I'm just gonna say it felt different. It felt different last night. And then I woke up this morning, cold sweat, staring at the ceiling, being like, oh my God, we're going to lose here again tonight because this is what the Leafs do. Game started, they erased it. Playing well, pretty awake from the jump, even with some ceremonies going on there. Obviously, we saw Nick tweeted out 7:19 p.m. start. They were ready to go. That's kind of all I could ask for. Back to back, no excuses. You're ready to take on whoever it is on the other side. Didn't matter. Snake there. It did feel different. So, there's positives in that as well. Make sure to keep hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Try to get to 15K subscribers. That's the next goal. 15K subscribers here on the channel. I mean, I'll take 15K. 15K would be a good Christmas gift. To me, obviously. I'm being greedy, but come on. Help me out here. I'm not going to say no to 15K subscribers. Come on. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel. We'll do Smelling Salts at 50 likes here tonight as well. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuning in. Thanks to Nick for stopping by, obviously. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do with our new segment here. We've come up with something every single time. I don't have anything yet. Maybe something will come to me. In the meantime, Fisk TV, you like that one. What the F is that question? That was last night's. I don't know if you guys saw, there was our guy, producer Vic, put out, he was watching the stream last night. He made the photo. I tweeted it out last night after the stream. That's why make sure to follow me over on Twitter at Zack Phillips, ZackPhill on Twitter. But I tweeted it out after the fact. Just an all-time picture from our guy. Hopefully you guys saw it. But there you go. After last night, Lars Eller in a Leafs uniform. Trade for Lars. Producer Vic, the GOAT, made that for me. Sent it over after. Lars Eller. That was a good... that was a insane suggestion. I couldn't believe that was... Denver was just firing that one in here. What do you think? What do you think about Lars Eller? What do you think about Lars Eller? I'm like, I don't know, man. What? All right. Let's get to let's change the order of things here. You know what? While we don't have a segment for this next one, let's get to our play of the game. I want to know what you guys have. That's a good comment. Diz K, new segment. Looking for Lars. A Lars Eller trade watch. That's it's clever. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's get to the play of the game. Play of the game for me tonight. It is kind of a tough one. Robert says there in the chat. It is kind of a tough one tonight. I'm trying to think about which I would want to give it for. I kind of want to go with William Nylander's goal on the power play because it's the lead. I mean, we obviously got to see how these games finish tonight and what everybody ends up finishing with, but league leading 11th goal. It's Willie just makes a mistake on the pass back to the point, goes back, the team regroups. I'm sitting there oh no, it's going to happen again. These questionable setups, passing the puck all around in these wonky spots, leaves the zone. Now we're going to have to enter the zone back again. Willie picks it up and he just says, screw it. He just skates straight into the zone and right across the blue line, makes a nice move across, but from the outside to the inside, backhand to his forehand, gets inside, makes a nice shot past Montembeault. On top of that, I don't know if people realize, that was the 400th assist of Morgan Rielly's career. That is enough for third all-time on Maple Leafs defensemen. Third all-time for Maple Leafs defensemen for assists. That puts him behind Boreas Elming and Thomas Kaberle. As much heat as that guy takes, he is going to be a Maple Leaf for life. He is a leader on and off the ice. He is a beloved player for just kind of who he is and how he's handled things. He was here for the collapse against Boston. He is still here. And this is the first year that we've really got to watch Morgan Rielly and being like, not shitting our pants about him every single night. 30 years old, and it's kind of just calmed down because I don't think we look at that blue line anymore and be like, we need that guy to do this. He's not experiencing the same pressure. He's not having to face the same things defensively, just in terms of like, all of a sudden, Ekman Larsson is this massive upgrade over TJ Brody as his partner. It alleviates pressure from his game. He's not having to worry about the physical play, the defensive play. Like, he's got this guy as his wingman that I honestly, I'll call it when it is. I gotta say it. If I say it wrong, I was very wrong about this D pairing. I mean, we'll see if it continues, and I don't want to jinx it, but at first, I was shitting my pants that these guys were together, saying this is a bad defensive pairing, they're going to get burned, they might create a ton of offense. I've not had any concern about them on any given night, really, at this point. Like, they have been this calm, collective pairing who have just kind of flown under the radar to an extent. You see Ekman Larsson every now and then jump up in the rush and get a chance, or hammer some guy, or chop some guy's finger off, and it's like, oh, that was fun. And then it just continue back, and you don't notice them. And that's like a good thing. It's a good thing. Fisk TV kind of forgot about Rielly lately, TBH. Yeah, and Diz K, OEL is playing out of his mind. Yeah, like these guys are playing really well right now, and it's just kind of like passing by quietly, and it's nice. We come on here and talk about how well OEL is playing. I think a lot of it in our minds is because, first of all, when he came here, people in the numbers community, I'll leave it at that, were not overly impressed with the Ekman Larsson signing. 3 years, 3.5. There's a lot of people who jumped on the dunk on Ekman Larsson train, and that's kind of turned around. So I feel like for a lot of people, it's having to turn around and kind of acknowledge how wrong they were about that signing and the player that he is. He has been awesome. And not only has he been a positive impact on the team, he's a lot of fun to watch. Like, he's a lot of fun to watch here right now. And then he looked good alongside McCabe. He looks good now alongside Morgan Rielly. Like, his legs are underneath him. He makes a great first pass. He's not afraid of pressure. He's this physical player with some snot in his game that I didn't really anticipate a guy like Ekman Larsson would have. And, whoa, he's got it. Like, he's just adding different components. I was talking to, like, my roommate has his buddy over, and he's saying to me, you know, how's Ekman Larsson being, and how's this decor being about this Leafs team? He's asking, and I'm like, you know, this is the first time really that we're 16 games in. The most that I could pick on this Leafs team for defensively is like, early on, wasn't overly impressed with Timmins in the first couple of games. And then basically after like 2 games, he was like, hey, watch this. And then just turned it around. And then Liljegren jumps in. And I was like, wow, Liljegren didn't look that great tonight. And he's gone. So it's like, Benoit, discipline issues. Okay, he's kind of figured that out here. He's basically being a non-factor now, negatively. Like, we're not having to worry about that. Then you bounce over to our guy, Connor Timmins. Scores a goal here tonight, contributing offensively, making great impacts on games, underlying analytics, and visually. Like, you can just see him being an impactful player. There are so many positive things happening, and the D has just been like this don't worry about it group. The team defense is pretty good. They're not just getting shelled on a nightly basis, blocking shots, breaking up plays. They're not out of space or out of position and just kind of staring at space like we've used to see this group in the past. Think about how many times we come on here and we're like, Justin Hall got turnstiled tonight. No longer happening. Like, it's not a frequent concern with this group anymore. It's just being comfortable, which, knock on wood, like, you don't want this to turn around, and I've just jinxed it and screwed us. But that said, it's comfortable. And I'm like, maybe as a Leaf fan, programmed to believe something bad is going to happen. So I've tried not to this point to not get to try to not get too high on them. But Morgan Rielly, like that play, 16 games here now, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points on the year. He's 4 penalty minutes. He's +1. That play, 400 assists. Nylander, coast to coast, wraps it up. Yeah, obviously it's just a whatever add-on assist for a guy like Morgan Rielly there, because it's not like he really like made it happen, but still gets the assist. Honorable mentions for those. Honorable mentions. I would say honorable mentions for me here tonight would be the Marner goal. We can look at the result of the play all we want, but watch the way the Leafs penalty kill swarms as the Habs enter the zone. They tighten up over by the wall. They give Matheson effectively nothing. He goes down the wall. He tries to make the play back up the wall. It's just a miscommunication there by the Habs. They're not in place to be able to get that puck. Marner takes off. I watched Marner pass the puck across to David Kampf, and I'm like, oh, dear God. Like, first of all, it's David Kampf. Second of all, he didn't just shoot it right away. And then he's backing up, and I'm like, where is he going? What is he doing? Why is he not putting this thing back out to Marner? Next thing you know, Marner circles back out front and Kampf makes a tape-to-tape pass to Mitch Marner, who taps it into the empty net. Honorable mention on that play, penalty kill goal. Your special teams have been amazing. 2 for 4 here tonight. As for the penalty kill and kind of the performance of them, yeah, you end up going 1 for 2 on it, but you also scored on your penalty kill, so like kind of negates it. And that 1 goal, I don't really blame anyone too much. Like, there's obviously stuff every time that you could look to and say, hey, let's tighten that up, let's tighten this up, and that's fair, but it's a rebound that Gallagher swats out of the air. He wasn't all alone. Tanev was on him. Gallagher just happened to get his stick on it first. Like, kind of unlucky. It's a good play by Gallagher. Great play and great awareness to get to the front by him. Great hand-eye to get his stick on the puck. But, like, he wasn't just all alone. He wasn't standing there and we're going, oh, who's got him? Like, it's not breakdowns like that anymore. It's, hey, a guy got inside, a rebound came out, and he hit it out of the air. Great. Good goal by him. It's like last night, the Larkin goal on the penalty kill. Turns and fires from a spot that's just, like, not really that much of a threat, and he puts through the perfect shot to the top corner with a slight screen there from the defenseman. It is what it is. So, kudos to the penalty kill. Honorable mention for that. And then also, just shout out to Connor Timmins for that goal that he scored here tonight. Whiffs on the puck at the point. Josh Anderson flyby. Walks to the net and then fires it in off of, I thought it was going to be Lorentz's goal. I think it hit Dvorak and went in. Shout out to Connor Timmins. All right, let's get to our segment. I finally figured out what I'm going to do, what we're going to call it. We're going to get to our first segment of the show here today. We got a couple more before we wrap things up, obviously, but our first segment of the show, we're going to call this one The Big Question. That's the name of the segment. And for those who don't know, The Big Question is powered by Square. If you run a restaurant, you're too busy for this ad. You're thinking about how to get more orders flowing and new locations opening. You need to get more customers and keep them coming back. So really, you're already thinking about Square, because Square Restaurant Tech helps more than 400,000 restaurants do all those things and more. So when you're thinking about your restaurant, think bigger, and think Square. Go to square.ca and see why Square is big in restaurants. Make sure to check out Square. The link is in the description there. All right, let's get to the big question, powered by Square. I wasn't sure what to do, and then I saw the big question posted in the chat, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll do something with that. And then it got sent again by the same person. So Ryan Wheatley asks, and I'm not kidding, go to the chat, you'll see it. It says, all caps, big question. He sent it twice. So Ryan, shout out to you. Here's the big question. Thoughts on Robertson? Funny comment, Salvatore. Big question. Thoughts on Robertson? Buddy wants it, but he can't catch a break. Well, two-parter. First, you want it? You're going to get an opportunity here, Nick, because if Pacioretty is not healthy to play on Tuesday night, which cannot assume on these injuries, but the way he went down did not look great. I would think even bare minimum precautionary, you don't put him into the game on Tuesday just to say, hey, like, let's give you a little bit of a break. We don't need you against Ottawa. Like, it'll be okay. It's regular season, game 17. Things will be all right. I do feel like Robertson will get an opportunity in that top six. He wanted, he's been asking for it. If what Nick's saying is true, which I do believe Nick, and take him at his word for kind of the information that he has in regards to this Leafs team and some of these players and the situations that they're looking for trades or other stuff like that, like Nick knows, if his name is still being floated out there, he's going to want to perform. Like, he's going to want to get this done, and he's going to want to score goals and make himself look better and more appealing for some other team, because his name was floated out there after he asked for a trade in the summer, and nobody came calling. Nobody showed interest. He scored 5 goals in the preseason. It wasn't enough to get him traded. Then he went into the regular season, and so far through 16 games here now, whether you want us to call it unfair or not because he had a goal called off, he has 1 goal on the season. 1. Quite honestly, like, I do think he will be a pretty successful player in the NHL, but it's just not going to work for him here in Toronto, maybe the way he envisions it being. But that's not good enough. 1 goal is not good enough. And a lot of people get mad and say he hasn't had the opportunity, he hasn't had this, he hasn't had that. Well, under Sheldon Keefe, he was given certain opportunities, and then the leash was pretty short. Fair enough, okay? You can have your complaints about that. My opinion on the whole situation is that you had chances, and you didn't show enough to stick in them. Like, look at Matthew Knies. He gets thrown into the first line, shows right away I deserve to be on this first line, and it's like, okay, go back to him. Because the 1 chances that he got, the couple shifts that he got, that Sheldon Keefe looked at him out there, was like, yep, this kid's a baller. This kid can play. You got to keep him in that lineup. Nick Robertson has not ever made the coach say, I got to have him in that spot. I need to have this guy top 6, top line left wing. No, it's never been the case for him. 1 goal to this point has not been good enough. So, Pacioretty goes out. Let's assume even just 1 game. 1 game he's out. You're likely going to be the guy who's next man up to get that shot on the second line. If Matthews comes back on Tuesday, things obviously move around, so maybe Domi's into that spot as well, but it feels like they might try to shift some things and put him onto center. I don't know how things will rotate with Dewar, but if he gets the chance to go up on that second line, you damn well better show up offensively and continue to create and generate chances, because Pacioretty got put in that role and he was able to do it. So I don't want to hear any excuse about it. None. David Gerard, Knies is special though, not a fair comparison. Robertson could be a good third line center with a good third line with a good center, and Lorentz or McMahon playing better. Like, okay. He's had plenty of line mates. That's the issue. Plenty of line mates. Plenty of chances. And even if his goal last night counts, it's 2. Steven Lorentz has more goals than him. No disrespect to Steven Lorentz. I love the play that he brings. He's not a guy that you expect to score goals. It's just not the case. In Diz's case, definitely trying hard, but no results. That's kind of the issue, right? He's trying hard. I have no issue at all with his effort. I'm not going to come here ever and say Nick Robertson did not try. Nick Robertson was out to lunch. It's just maybe he is not able to capitalize at the rate of which he believes he can, or we hope that he can. Maybe he can't. Like, honestly, maybe we just have to come to terms with who he is as a player and what he can be. Because it's not what he thinks, at least to this point. Jonathan Stewart, Bobby has been setting up chances. He's been great defensively. It's genuinely delusional the way you and Nick talk about him. But what is the other way to approach this? He's not really contributing to the game. Like honestly, answer yourself when you're looking at these. Like, does he bring to the game what Pacioretty does? He's faster, sure. He's not as physical. He's not able to win battles the same way. Okay, their vision, I would say, is probably Pacioretty's got the edge. Shot, okay, sure. Maybe Robertson's got the edge here now. But, like, I'm not putting him above Pacioretty. He wasn't more effective in those roles. I don't know. That's just kind of the way I look at it, and I don't care what the effort he's bringing is. The production and the numbers that we're seeing are not what they need to be for a guy who's demanding as much as he is, quite honestly. What I mean by demanding as much as he is like he wants to be a top 6 player or wants to be traded or whatever. Like, okay, the production is not there. It needs to be there. Results. There need to be results. He doesn't have them. There you go. That's the big question. Powered by Square. Thanks for that. New segment every time with these guys. I don't know if they appreciate that or not. I had never heard anything bad, so I think I would have if they were not impressed with the new segment every time. But I think it's a creative way to do things. Hopefully, I don't know. I try my best. You know, that. This is where it matters, when you try. Kind of. 50 likes were hit here on the stream. I see you bringing it up. David Gerard. Good big question, guys. Thank you. Thank you, David. Rushman, Zach, the Salts. Yes, I saw other people saying the Salts. Yeah, we hit 50 likes. If we get to 100 here on the stream, we'll do them again. There you go. GMAC, Muzzy looking sharp as hell. Thank you, GMAC. There's this guy. He's the captain of our men's league hockey team. His Muzzy. He's got it all year, though. That's the other thing. But his Muzzy is what I strive for mine to look like. I've got this thin thing. I got called out the other day. 2 capybaras kissing each other. Some shit was said in the chat because mine has a little gap in the middle or whatever. Look, that's not up to me. I don't decide that to have the gap there. It just happens. If I wanted the thing to be filled in, if it was just a matter of that, it would be filled in. All right? Let's get that out of the way. But thanks, GMAC. And shout out to the captain of the men's league team. Nasty Mussy. That's what I want mine. Let's get to the Salts. Like the stream. Let's get to 100 and we can do them again. We got a couple more things to get to before we close the show tonight. Appreciate you all for liking it. Thank you, Jonathan. Muzzy Mullet Combos Elite. Thank you. I try. Do my best to look good for you guys for whatever reason. Appreciate it. See you smiling, Salts. Oh my God. All right. My girlfriend is sick right now. She's got a stuffy nose. Tried to give her the smelling salts. See if it would help. My eyes are watering. See if it helped clear things up. Just instant tears in her eyes. Probably should have given her a better warning. So that's on me. But I thought it would be helpful. Maybe a bad guy move. All right. Let's get to the next segment here. We got 2 more to go before we close this thing out. Recap best bets, and then we'll get to our grades of the game. I want you guys to drop yours in the chat there as well. Eyes are watering. Let's get to recapping the best bet for tonight. And again, hopefully you guys tailed, because if you tailed the best bet here tonight, I don't know, a little extra pocket change to head to the bar here tonight, and a fun one to be able to celebrate. Before I get to this, no, I did not. AK, Zach shaved the middle. Come on. I wish that it grew there. I've been, you guys with the comments, the Capybaras comment made me, I've been trying to make sure that nothing's there, like trying to like hide it. It's like curtains at this point, trying to make sure it's just not like that. Yeah, Ryan Wheatley, dude, I got the same Muzzy gap. Yeah, like I do what I can. Stoic nature. Zack Phillips is a hockey player. Look it up. Another guy though. Yeah, he is. It's true. It's true. Whew. All right. Let's get to our best bet. I'm not reading that comment. Let's get to our best bet for tonight. Recap what happened there, and we can tie it into some other stuff and just the play that happened with it. But our best bet segment is presented by Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation after dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, NATION. That's code NATION, NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. If you guys followed the pregame show, which I hope you do, even if you don't bet with us on the pregame show, I understand. If you're not someone who bets, I get it. But I try. I know a lot of other content out there will just do best bets and say, hey, bet this, bet this, bet this. I'm trying to at least break it down from a game perspective. What do I anticipate this game looking like tonight? I genuinely do believe that I have an edge on things with the Maple Leafs because of the way that I see this team play, the way that I view the game, the way I see things happening on the ice, and just traditionally how they match up against opponents, and then the line combinations that happen. So I try to give a best bet kind of mixed in with my perspective of the game and what I think could be the realistic outcome of what's going to happen. If you guys don't want to bet them, I understand. No issue there. I get it. That's your decision. You guys do what you're comfortable with, but at least watch the game previews, because I think that I give some good insight just in terms of what the lines are going to be, who the goalie is, the matchups, what we could possibly expect from certain guys hopping into different spots, maybe who will elevate, who won't, who would be in a worse situation, some predictions, that kind of stuff. So make sure to subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Turn on notifications so you get notified every time those pregame videos drop, or as well, anytime we do there's some funny comments here in the chat. Anytime we do any of the Leafs Nation After Dark or the Leafs Morning Show. So subscribe here, turn on notifications. But Jonathan Stewart here quickly as well. The boys at work bought some salts after watching the stream the other night. My buddy Todd hit his head off the window of the truck after ripping a whiff. Please be careful with the salts. That's what I say. The first one, after you do it for the first time, genuinely will knock your socks off. Like, it will absolutely rock you. I do appreciate that you bought the smelling salts, though, after watching the stream and got you into it. So, that is funny. Thank you. But be careful with the salts. Best bet here tonight that we gave out on the show, pregame show ahead of time, was... the best bet that I gave out was John Tavares anytime goal plus 200. That was our best bet for the night here. Look, I had some concern with Pacioretty going down, obviously, because my whole thing was like that second line had been playing really well. I thought that they were, I don't know. I just thought that the second line has been generating a lot. It felt like they were all over it. Like they have been hard on forechecks. They've been playing hockey the right way. Like you've got some of these guys with Pacioretty, Nyes on the top six lines who are getting in there hard. They're making a lot of trouble for the defensive team who's going back to play pucks or getting pucks on the boards. Like those guys are just going in there and winning board battles. They're finding ways to get the puck on the sticks of Nylander and Tavares more frequently. On top of that, it's Tavares playing in the spot that he's in on the power play is much different than where he traditionally is. And in all honesty, my prediction of it, like again, I'll tell you if I was wrong about something. I was wrong about Riley and OEL. I'll be honest about those. Wrong there. I was right about the Tavares power play thing, and it paid off for us here tonight, luckily, with the bet. The way that he's playing on the power play is much different because he's playing in a higher slot role, whereas traditionally, he's going to have to play closer down to the blue paint. Or if he doesn't play closer down to the blue paint and he plays higher out, there's no one in the range of the front of the net to cause any havoc. So it's a much more defensive situation for the other team and easier for them to step up and take away time and space from Tavares, because if he pops back out on that power play, then he's not going to have as much time and space because there's no one down low to cause any type of distraction. But now, with Nyes being the net front guy, JT can kind of, I don't want to say like sneak back into this like soft spots of the defense where someone might not be because it's forcing someone else to be down elsewhere in the zone. Like that other guy goes down lower, and now Tavares comes back up and he's got 1 extra second, 2 extra seconds, whatever it might be, but it allows him a step in or he can do whatever he wants. That play in particular, first of all, kudos to Marner. He's on the outside. Instead of just forcing something through or forcing a shot or forcing a pass to Tavares, he holds the puck down on the outside. As he's holding the puck down the outside, he brings the defenseman with him. Tavares slots back up as support, kind of high, coming back into that top of the circle slot range. Marner hits him with the puck. He's got time and space there, a little bit at least. Gets a shot off. A stick kind of goes on his stick, but Montembeault bangs the rebound right back out to him, tape to tape. He follows it up. That's also another important thing. How many times when you were in minor hockey, I know it happened for us all the time. You shoot the puck on net, follow your shot. Follow your shot. Don't do the fade away. Look, I shot my puck and it's okay, fade away. Shoot the puck, follow it to the net because rebounds can pop out. The goalie may bobble it. It might hit something else that you didn't expect. So you put those things on net, a rebound might bounce out and you can capitalize. JT follows it to the net after he gets into that little soft spot, gets the shot off, puck bounces back to him, buries. He's having a quiet, pretty good year. Slow-ass start, call it what it is. Slow start for JT. Quiet, good year here so far for Johnny Toronto, even without the captaincy. And that one pays off for us. So we had a half unit on it, $50 to profit, $100. That hits. Big win for us here tonight. That gets us back on the towards the positive side. We are still down 0.5 units on the season. That's on me. Accountability, hand up. If you've bet the right unit sizes with us, plus 200 was our bet tonight. $50 to win 100. We win the 100. We're down 0.5 units, down a 5% ROI. Not what we want, obviously, but heading in the right direction. Heading in the right direction. All right. Let's get to our final segment, and we'll wrap this up. Grade of the game. Oh, my God. Sorry, I just got a Marchessault late goal there. Yes. Sorry, Marchessault wins something for me. I mean, we're talking about the betting segment with Bet365 up. I had something nice there with Marchessault in that Preds game. So just got a text. Marchessault scores. We'll take that one. Thank you, Marchessault. Thank you. Bang. We're back. Keep it rolling. All right. Final thing. Grades of the game. You guys send them in the chat there. I want to know what you guys have, what your thoughts are here on the game tonight. I'm going with an A. Not a plus, not a minus, just an A. It's a back-to-back. All I wanted was good, clean, just good, clean hockey from this team. I wanted also, let's just clarify this before I go further. Rushman says, you said you were down 1.5 units pregame. This is a 0.5 unit bet, so you were down 1 unit. Wrong. We profited 1 unit, though. That's an important distinction, Rushman. We profited $100, so we profited 1 unit. So we are back to down 0.5 units. I have everything in a sheet. We can check it if we want, but yeah, that's where we're at. All right, A for me tonight, though. Offensive generation was there. 27 shots for this team. You dominated the face-off circle. Your special teams was great. 2 for 4, 50% on the power play. Obviously, you went 1 for 2 on the penalty kill, but you also scored. So in my mind, kind of negates it and a little bit lucky. 20 for 21 for Woll here tonight. Good game for him. Slow start to the third period, but got back in it. Didn't allow Montreal to have too much. Also didn't allow Montreal to kind of tighten it. So good on you. Good on you. Good game. Just a good all-around game here. It's an A for me. Easy as that. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. I think that's going to do it for me here tonight. Got through everything. Those are all segments. Appreciate you all, as always. Max, question here. What is a unit? A unit is the measurement of how much money you're staking on each game. So your unit is your average bet size and the normal bet size. For the sake of the pregame show and the postgame show, like how we're tracking it, $100 is 1 unit. So like if it is a full unit play, it's 1 unit. And I'm basing these based on the edge that we have and the confidence level that we have in the bet. So 1 unit, some of them, we're shorting them down. We go like 50%. This K, 1% of your bankroll usually. Yeah, it's about that. Like, it's kind of dependent on person, obviously, but this K, pretty good, honestly. That's a pretty good rule to have there. I'm just doing it as 1 unit as $100 for the sake of simplicity for the show. I like $100 is kind of easy for me to be able to say, hey, we will wager this, and we can kind of go from there rather than randomizing bankroll sizes and all that kind of stuff. That's the dead honest answer. But a unit is like how much you're normally putting on something. A for me here tonight. I don't have too much else to dig into. Thanks to Nick for showing up here tonight, hopping by to let us know his thoughts on the game. Thank you to everyone in the chat for showing up and participating as always. Thank you for the big question here tonight. Appreciate you all for tuning in as always. Well, I will be back on Tuesday night for another post-game show following the game against the Senators. Nick and Rosie will be back Monday morning at 11 a.m. for more reaction from this weekend, as well as digging into upcoming games. Donnie shouted out the Leafs Nation when he videoed the Habs fan and Leaf fan pepper sprayed each other. Great. Thanks, Donnie. Appreciate that as always. Thank you all for tuning into the show here tonight. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. This has been game number 16 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as the Leafs defeat the Montreal Canadiens 4-1 here tonight, moving to 9-5-2 on the season. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back on Tuesday. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.